Time now for the Educated Retirement Show with your host, Jay Kaplan. Jay discusses reverse mortgages and can answer your questions at 951-922-3532. Call lines are open at 951-922-3532. And now here's Jay.
And good afternoon, everyone, once again. And of course, I am here to welcome you back to the Educated Retirement and radio show, that is, where we contemplate retirement and how to best stay happily retired, even though I'm not retired. And certainly our great guest, Glenn Bowie, is not retired either. He may, we'll talk to him about what degree of retirement he may or may not be in. But let me make sure there's a picture there. I want to show you a picture of the book. This is a hardbound. It's so easy to get on Amazon, and we're going to have Glenn tell you how to get it and why you should get it. I can tell you, though, really why you should get it, but here it is. And I've really enjoyed it. And Glenn, hello.
Hey, how you doing, Jay? Good to hear from you.
Well, no, it's better to hear from you. So we have our first argument here. But it was such a pleasure to talk to you last time. And we can go over some of that stuff because it was so important, I thought, okay? What you talked about last time. And, knowing someone with a life like you lead, I'm sure that there is so much more that's come up since then. And, we can get into a lot of that also. So take it away, and let's just go as if we were starting, to talk to you for the first time and talk about what is new. No, let's not talk about, let's talk about what's new in a minute. Let's talk about and I am wearing my cigar shirt because we talked earlier about Buena Vista Social Club, Ry Cooder, Wim Wenders, and all of the great music that comes out of Cuba. But that's another story. But let's start with introductions and tell us about yourself, please.
Yeah.
And yes, I know it goes back quite a ways, and a lot of things happen, but I still think all of that's important.
Yes. My name is Glenn Bowie. I'm the founder and CEO of Glenn Bowie Speaks. It's a motivational and inspirational company that makes a difference in lives of kids and high school, college kids, and now I'm branching on and working towards putting a presentation together for sales, how to win business and gain market shares. There's a presentation I'm currently working on right now. I've been in the wireless business, for the past 27 years.
You mean about when wireless started?
You got it. Even before then, I was selling pagers for PageNet for 5 years.
Yeah, I was just looking at that in the book about how I'm going to give you a start in being a salesman because you always wanted to be one, and that was in a pager company.
Yes, that was the good old days. I tell you, that was before cell phones, and I got hooked on the technology, and I just love it. And it's been PageNet led me to Nextel. I launched Nextel back in 1994, back when there was a two-way radio, one of the first wireless technologies to hit the marketplace, and that thing went viral, so I was really excited about that.
I hate to break in, but did I tell you last time about my first mobile phone? It was about 6 inches, maybe 4 inches tall and about 3 feet wide and 2 feet deep and fit in the trunk of the car. And you had to, you had to get a hold of the mobile operator, and if there was people you didn't like talking, you could squelch them, that kind of thing.
Yeah, I totally get it. I was selling them on bread baskets, if you can believe that.
Yes, I believe
a
anything
bread
when it
basket.
comes to what you say.
So yeah, it was a lot of fun selling those products back in those days and making a difference in the
Yeah.
community and connecting people up. And back then, the world now has changed. With 5G is the hot button now. So after the paging industry, and then the Nextel, and then Sprint uh, took over, and now T-Mobile bought Sprint. So I'm still hanging around after 27 years. So it's pretty exciting
Well,
stuff.
so, go back and tell us about your childhood, your mother, and how important that was to you and whatever. Now, we can go till 4:30. We can go a little further than that if you want to, but that's all up to you, okay?
Okay, yeah, I'm good. Yeah, I'm just thankful and blessed, and thank you for the opportunity for me to come in and share my story with you. But yeah, I was raised in the hook of the book is from the projects to prosperity, life lessons learned along the way. And I tell you, having a mother who raised 4 kids, my dad was an alcoholic, so he wasn't around when I was a kid. I didn't get to know my dad until I got pretty much, I'd say about high school, when I was able to drive my car and go visit him. But my mother raised 4 kids all by herself with the help of my grandparents. But she was the one who kind of instilled in me the drive and the determination to help us get out of that environment. But she always reminded us, though, even though we plan on getting out of this neighborhood, you never forget where you come from.
No, no. And some people have great memories of where they came from, and some don't. And some had lots of, they had everything they wanted. I doubt a few did, but you did have a lot of happiness, I think, because of your mother and you. I mean, you couldn't do it without yourself, too. You know that?
Yeah, well, thank you. Yeah, that was one thing that my mother instilled in us was love. And it's funny that I'm talking to you on the radio. My mother's 90 years old, and she lives here at my
Great.
home. And I was telling her I was coming on the radio with you, and she laughed. And believe it or not, my mom had a radio station when we were little kids back in Peoria for a little bit called WPEO. And
Wow.
she was a DJ. Yeah. And so she'd bring home all those cool 1950s, 50s, and 60s records, and she introduced us to the Motown sound and the
Oh,
Philly
yeah.
sound and all that great music that was coming out. And that was our job as kids. And she would entertain her friends and my sister. And I have a sister and 2 older brothers. We were the entertainment, so we would go and dance and have a great
Well,
time.
some of my favorite music is from the 50s and the early 60s, but in my case, that would be jazz. My wife's case, that would be Motown. But for me, it would be jazz, and I'm so lucky that they're being reissued now in really, really good analog repressings. But that's a different story.
Hmm. Yeah, I love music. Music's always been an inspiration in my family. My grandfather was a ragtime piano player. My oldest,
Wow, that's cool.
yeah, my oldest brother's a music teacher in Baltimore at the Baltimore School of Arts. He's classical trained, plays Bach,
Wow.
Beethoven, Chopin. He plays a pipe organ.
Wow.
And so I
I'm
learned to
classically
appreciate.
trained too in the instrument that I play the best. And I
Uh-huh.
think I mentioned that's the stereo.
Yeah, yeah. Well, I
But I
tell you,
enjoy
music.
it. What the heck?
Yeah, exactly. Music is something that's really important to all of us. It lifts our spirits. It was always something that you could go to. There was always a message behind the music. And music's different nowadays than it was back in those days. It's kind
Yeah,
of
that
changed a little
reminds me. I
bit.
need to get Kathleen. Turn the tubes on, will you? So that I need to turn the tubes on so they can warm up a little. I got some newer records. One is Charlie Mingus, and there's a yeah, really. What do you want me to do? Turn the tubes on, and and some others like that. So I'm all excited, and you got me even more excited to listen to at least 1 or 2 records before I collapse today.
Yeah, I totally get it. Not a problem. I tell you, it's so yeah. Growing up in the projects was a great experience. I tell you, I wouldn't trade it for all the money in the world. And then we moved to middle-class America after that, and that was a whole nother world of opening me up to all different sorts of things. And that's when my vision and dreams really started taking off. But I started the vision boards and putting things on the wall of what I wanted my life to be like and the shape of my life. And that's when I started really dreaming big. And that's what the book is about, dreaming big, overcoming barriers, and living the best life that you can.
Yeah, and I believe you got invited to come to California while you were working at a hotel or something like that, right?
Yeah, well, that's interesting. You know, I put myself through college, and I'd go home on the weekends and wait tables every weekend because I always knew the value of being of service to others was always my motto. By waiting tables. And so I'd wait tables with a gentleman back in Peoria, Illinois, and his name was Mr. Ray Becker. I'll never forget it. And I waited on him, and we became friends. And he found out that I was coming home every weekend to wait tables in his restaurant that he owned. And he took a liking to me, and he taught me a lot about business and so forth. And he knew I was going to college. So when I graduated one summer, he says, well, look, I'm going out to California to a Betty Ford fundraiser with the Chicago Bear football team and the San Diego Chargers. And would you like to serve drinks on my private jet? Boy,
let me check my schedule.
Yeah, that's exactly what I told my mom when I ran home. I said, Mom, you won't believe it. Mr. Beck invited me on his private jet to go to San Diego. And I said, I don't think I'm coming back, Mom. And my mom said, you go for it, son. Reach your dreams and make something happen for yourself. And that's when I landed in San Diego.
Great. And then you just moved up from there, or moved on and up.
Well, when I got to San Diego, what happened was when I got to San Diego, Jay, I had a brother out at that time, was living down there, and I visited with him. But I had vision of coming to Los Angeles because San Diego, I loved it. It's a great place to retire and a great place, but the weather's beautiful. But I didn't like the pace of San Diego. I wanted a little bit more speed. I just felt like it was bigger opportunities in the bigger cities. So I left and headed up to Los Angeles and never looked back. And I had a vision and a dream of, Richard Pryor, the world's famous comedian, probably one of the greatest comedians in the world.
On the previous section, we were talking about Silver Streak, the film, remember?
Yeah. With Gene Wilder. Yeah. Mm-hmm. And so Richard Pryor, my uncle used to babysit him back in Peoria, so I kind of knew of him back in Peoria. Yeah, and so when I came to California, that was the first person I wanted to look up, Jay.
Of course.
So I called my cousin out at Warner Brothers Studio. He was working out there at the time, and I called my cousin Joe, and I said, Joe, look, I want to meet Richard Pryor. My uncle told me if I ever got to L.A. to look him up. So he said, well, you got it, cuz I'll get you on the lot, and you're on your own. I'll show you where his building is, and you take it from there. So I got on the Warner Brothers lot, Jay, and knocked on the door. A lady tells me to come in, and I told her who I was. I showed her my driver's license, and she said, well, he's not here today, but you can come back and at another time. And so I turned to walk away, a little disappointed, because I was hoping I was going to get a chance to see him. And here's this voice that yells out, hey, boy, who's your people? And I turned and looked, and he said it in his mudbone voice, some of his comedic voices. Yeah. And I turned and looked, and there he was.
Wow.
Yeah, and so we got to chit-chatting and talking about all the people I know, my cousins and uncles and people I knew that, were from Peoria. And next thing I know, he turns to his secretary and he says, get that boy's phone number. I'm putting him in my movie, JoJo Dancer, and I like to fell out of my seat.
Wow.
Yeah, so if you ever watch that movie, JoJo Dancer, I'm in the last scene where they were just finishing up the movie. He put me in as an extra. And so I said, well, can I bring someone with me? He said, sure, who you want to bring? I said, well, I want to invite my sister to come with me. And the reason why I wanted to do that, Jay, because I knew no one would believe me.
Right.
I needed a witness.
That's great. I don't remember that part of the story from last time, but then again, I'm old.
No worries.
And
But yeah, so that after that episode and after that opportunity, I left Richard Pryor's office on top of the world. After we went and watched
no
the film,
kidding.
yeah,
Now, I know
I
a lot
laughed.
of people can say it was just luck, but you know what? You made that luck happen. You went after things. You didn't just sit by and let things happen. You went after what you wanted, whether you thought it was going to work or not. And I think that's probably a big part of your book too. And let's take because I'm not sure how long you're going to be with us, but let's take a short break for you to tell everyone how easy it is to get a hold of this very, very worthwhile book.
Okay.
So, Amazon or what? Or your website? I got it through Amazon.
I'm sorry, Jay. That's my fault. I thought we were going on a station break. But yeah,
No, not yet.
Okay, yeah. There's two ways to get the book. One is through GlenBowieSpeaks.com. You can go online through my website, and you can see all what I'm doing and keep up with me. Or you can go directly to Amazon.com as well. But if you go onto my website, you can click on there, and the link is there, and it takes you straight to the book.
Oh,
that's probably that's the easiest way. Is just go to GlenBowieSpeaks.com. That's right. Glenn with two N's. And it'll take you right there.
And there's also Amazon, which people are real familiar with, and that's easy to get your book there also.
Yes, and you can go directly to Amazon, Glenn Bowie, and the name of the book is The Art of Speaking into Existence.
And you did that, didn't you?
Yeah, I always believed that. That was always my goal as a kid, because life and death to me is in the power of the tongue, man. I tell you, you speak something positive, I'm a firm believer that something positive is going to happen. And my mom instilled in that in me.
Yeah, and she is a huge part of your being. And you are so lucky and blessed to have had that, and the rest of your family.
Yes.
Correct?
Yes, without a doubt. I've had two older brothers and an older sister. I'm the youngest of four. But my mom's
just a
positive.
Kid.
Yeah, my mom's had lupus, Jay, for over 50 years.
Wow, it doesn't seem to have, well, maybe it's affected her to some degree, but she seems to be doing fine at 90, right?
Yeah, at 90 because of her attitude. And I just
attitude is so important, isn't it?
I talk about that in my book. Attitude is everything. And, it can spring you forward or it can hold you back. But the premise of the book is about being in action. Because nothing happens until you make a move. You've got to be in action. You've got to be doing something,
right.
No matter what it is.
Right. And, that goes for oldies like myself, too. And, we try to talk on this show, especially on this show, and we have a lot of guests that are, I was going to say healthcare workers, but, in-home care people, which is how I met you, too, through a mutual connection through a in-home care person.
Yes.
Randy, right? And
yes, Randy.
Yes. So we all like to preach that older people or even retired people live longer, live happier lives if they are taking action, if they're staying active. So even if you're oldie, like I mentioned before, I have a birthday tomorrow. I'm going to be 75. Yes, I enjoyed the book, and it's for people like myself and even older. And as Susan Geffen once said, if you're alive, you have a future.
Yes. I totally agree with you.
The book is for everyone.
That is so true.
Go ahead.
That is so true. Each chapter has a little bit of something in it for everybody, everyone. Because if you think about it, it's faith, it's family, it's community, it's being in action, it's making something happen, it's sales, it's marketing, It's giving back, and it's all in one book, so everybody can get something out of that book. There's golden nuggets throughout the whole book.
Yeah.
And
Yeah, and let me highly recommend the book also. And so we all have a future that we can work on, and even if we think everything is perfect, there's more out there. And if anybody can find the key to that more out there, it's Glenn.
Well, thank you. I tell you, sometimes you have to pivot. I mean, sometimes you have to go a different course. You get on the path and you think sometimes you're heading in the right direction, but you've got to get on a different path sometimes. And because sometimes one door might close, and then you've got to create another lane, create another door to open. So
and
that's what life
I think
is all
so
about.
much of that has happened now with the COVID crisis.
Yeah. Yes.
Not that it's killed. Well, I don't want to use that word at all, because we've lost much too much in this country and the world. But a lot of people were forced to pivot. And that doesn't mean to make a change. It means to be like, I kind of think of it as, now it's time, you got to be like a lighthouse and stand in one spot and start to look completely around you, 360 degrees, to see, well, maybe it's time for some changes, and really think about that. And your book is a great guide, I think, for that. Yes,
well, thank you. I realize in life that sometimes things don't always go the way you expect them to, and you have to be able to. It's about overcoming. This book is about overcoming too. There's certain things that happened in my life along the way that didn't go perfect, and
really,
and sometimes
yeah.
how do
of course,
and how do you address it? You can hold your head down, or do you want to hold your head up? When you fall down, my philosophy is get back up. Life is like a track meet. If you jump over a hurdle, you might fall sometimes if there's a hurdle in the way.
Yeah.
But you've got to get back up, and next time you get to that hurdle, you got to get over it. And so that's always been my motto, is that when you fall down or anything, you've got to get back up.
Now, let me ask you, Glenn, do you do public speaking?
Yes. Yes,
and
I do.
Why don't you talk a little bit about that and how people can get a hold of you for that?
Yes, definitely. If you go to glennbowiespeaks.com, there's a way I have a contact page, and you can reach out to me there. But there's also a page that shows you all the different audiences that I can address and speak to. And so you can leave your name and number, contact information, then I'll follow back up, or I'll have my assistant follow back up with you. And then we can set something up. Matter of fact, I had a speaking opportunity this morning with the LA Rotary Club.
Wow, okay.
So, yeah, that was this morning. And they wanted to talk about the book and so forth. And but, yeah, that's the best way to reach me. So I can talk about, faith. I can talk about family. I can talk about community, sales. I've got a 30-year track record, a proven track record in sales. So that's what I'm working on next.
Well, I think all of those things you just mentioned to kind of go together. They run together. Yep. Now, if you're not in sales, you're not in sales. But let me tell you, I think every human being somewhat is in sales, because they're selling themselves to friends, to whatever, even if they're not selling a product. Do you think so?
I agree 100%. You may not even realize it, But, I've always had this philosophy that no one really wants to be sold, but they do want to be happily involved.
Yeah, and it kind of goes together, doesn't it?
That's
what? I'm going to start
motto.
using that in my presentations.
Okay, I'm going to charge you for that now, Jay.
I understand, and I'll pay you royalties as it goes.
Just kidding. But
now, we're at half past the hour, and it is time for a short break. Now,
okay.
Glenn, you can stay. You can leave if you like. If you're waiting to give a talk, you can stay with us for another 10 minutes, 15 minutes, whatever you like. Okay?
I'm good. I'm good. My time is yours tonight. So yeah, I'm wide open. I blocked out a good hour just for you. So whatever you need me, whenever you need me, I'm here for you.
My real need is just to listen to you. So that's my need. So, okay. Sean, take it away, and everybody listening and getting this great information from Glenn. We'll be back in just a few minutes. Thanks. Yes, RonIsMyLender.com. And I was on his show, God, how long ago was that? Yesterday, that was it. And I'm on his show at least, well, probably once a month, every month, because he has subjects regarding older people. And, am I on older people? Yes. And I'm sure a lot of his people that listen to his show, as do mine, are older people. And older people are getting older all the time, right, Glenn? So we need to
Yeah,
help. We need to get all of these good things out for everyone.
exactly. And I tell you, I'll give a discount if anyone wants to reach out to directly to me. I can autograph my books. I've been doing a lot of those lately and giving discounts to seniors. So I can do whatever I can to cut the
I
cost
would love
down
to
to
have
help
your
as
book
well.
autographed, but we'll wait till we get together because I know we are going to get together. It's just all there is to it.
Oh, I'm looking forward
I
to
need
it.
to wait. I had my first COVID shot. I'm going to get my second, I think on the 13th of next month. And 2 weeks after that, I can't wait to get out. I mean, I've stored all of this energy, even though I've been sick and had surgeries and all this stuff and lost 100 pounds. I'm feeling pretty good. And
Wow.
when I get
Congratulations.
safe to get out there, now you're just a young tyke, right? You can't qualify for the COVID yet, can you?
Not yet. I'll be 62 this year.
All right, your reverse mortgage birthday is coming up, but that's another subject altogether. And because I think that is what helps people so much. And yeah, you're just a kid, but that's okay. You know why? Because it means you got a lot longer to go and a lot more to share with the rest of the world, which needs you.
Well,
Right?
thank you. Yeah, I'm really excited about it. I got a phone call last week from a friend of mine. I've known him for 30 years. He's 70 years old, and he read my book, and he called me, and he says, Glenn, I just finished your book. I'm coming out of retirement now after reading your book. I
That's
just couldn't
what we
believe it.
all need to do. And you don't need to call it coming out of retirement. It could be anything. But
Sure.
you need to, that's the principle. Come out of retirement. You can stay retired and still work, right?
Yes. Mm-hmm.
And
Definitely.
being occupied is so important, I think. And staying busy is so important. I think you're going to live longer if you stay active.
That is
And
so true.
active and successful. And of course, Glenn is the man to get you there.
I tell you, I've had a lot of great mentors, that have helped me get to where I am today. I think about all the people that helped me, and I think about even as being a top sales producer for 30 years, so many people have helped me along the way, and I just want to let the audience know that, you know, my motto is I'm not that good, but God is that great, and that's always been my motto.
Well, I
Talking
think
about
you're pretty good. I think you're pretty
yeah, yeah. Well, thank you. I try hard. My mom always taught me to, son, just try. And but having good mentors along the way and good friends that are positive, spending time with positive energy, positive people, and really make a difference in our lives.
And now you're mentoring so many others.
Yes, I'm mentoring high school kids, college kids. I'm working with as a sales trainer. I've got sales executives, lawyers calling me, want me to help them with their sales abilities, help them close business, how to build relationships, how to be authentic relationships is the key word.
And anybody that reads your book, you've just become their mentor also.
Yes.
And and that's and the book is so worth it. The book is not hugely expensive in any way, shape, or form, and it's not really about the money because it takes money to get these things printed. It's the ability to learn, and this is where you go. You go to Glenn and to his book to learn
Yes,
and to
it's
live.
definitely. Hmm. and it's definitely a learning tool. It's got fun, it's funny, it's got a lot of wit in it, it's got a lot of golden nuggets. It's about overcoming and how to learn. I'm excited about it, about just being determined to make it. It was 4 years in the making. I don't know if you knew that or not, Jay, but
no,
it took
I didn't.
4 years.
But I mean, I know that it wasn't just
slapped
slapped together because it's got so much thought and history in it.
And I tried to make it personal. You know, I wanted to share. People are reading it, are telling me they're reading the book, and it feels like they're listening to me on stage or live, and that's my next thing. I'm working on trying to put together.
Radio.
There you go. I love it. I love it on the radio as well. I'm planning on going on a tour at some point, pending this environment that we're in right now. Once we're able to get back out, I'm going to go on a book tour, speaking tour, and I'm looking forward to going back to Peoria, Illinois, and where it all began, and making a difference in some the lives of some of the people there that would need my assistance, particularly in the projects where I started out. I want to go back, and I want to give back to my community and make a difference back there, Jay.
And hopefully they're all open to it. You know, they should be all open to it. And if they're not, they got a problem.
Yeah, I think they'll be open to it because my goal is to give away turkeys for Thanksgiving. So everyone's going to want to eat.
Done.
So I'm going to do a turkey. That's the goal. So we'll see, how that works out.
When it comes to sales, isn't reciprocity the number one thing on the list, right? To be able to give first before you can get back.
Yeah, exactly. And that's how I've lived my life pretty much. I was raised that way, and I want to be an example to others to follow. I mean, this COVID has really restricted a lot of us, in ways that we never imagined. But, I've taken this time to really look inside myself and hear other people's voices and do a self-assessment of where I'm at, and how can I be better, and what can I do. So I've got all this energy kind of stored up. And
you've got energy, all right. And that's because you're so positive.
Well, thank you. I've always felt that positivity is contagious. If you're around positive people, then you're going to be positive as well.
Yeah, and, I guess I picked a good year to be sick. You know what I mean? I got the pancreatitis started at the beginning of May of last year. In and out of the hospital, and they found this and that, but we're not getting into, how old people like to talk about their health, right? Especially their problems. That's one thing you got to talk them out of. These old people always want to talk about their health problems. But you know what? I had a lot of problems. I'm over those problems now. And I made it through, and I'm really, really proud of myself that I did. But let's face it, whatever it was, fate or whatever, it happened, it coincided with the COVID thing, so I was locked down anyway, so I picked a good time, right?
Yep, exactly. And I think that's great that you're doing well. I'm so proud of what you accomplished.
Thank you
you're
so much,
better.
And that means a great deal to me.
Yeah.
I probably weighed a lot for the last time we talked, but I have lost like 100 pounds, and people told me I'd feel so much better when I lost the weight, but the main thing is I'm cold. When it's cold outside, I'm cold. And when I used to be heavier, I wasn't. So no, there's more to it than that. I was on 9 prescriptions, I think, when I weighed 100 pounds more. I'm on 3 now.
Wow. Well, congratulations. Congratulations.
Yeah, and no more cholesterol medicine. And next week we're going to another test. And they may be even taking me off of blood pressure medicine too. So I'll be down to almost nothing.
Wow.
So that's really good. And it's never too late to get healthier. You know what I mean?
That is so true. I wake up every day, and I think what it is, it's not about how much exercise you're doing. I think the most important thing is being consistent in doing whatever it is that you're doing. The consistency, whether it's, I think is the key.
Yeah.
to livelihood is being consistent. And also, I believe that it's important to believe in something that's bigger than yourself.
Always.
And whatever that
always.
is. You know, my faith has always been the leading, guiding force in my life. And whatever it is that you believe in, and we all have different beliefs and faiths and whatnot, but I think it's really important to have that as the center of your life. And
Yes.
That's where I've always been. And I was raised that way in the church. You know, my uncle was a pastor in the church, and I talk about that in my book. And so we believe, you know, and we were in the gospel Baptist church and so forth, and he was the pastor, and I'd come home every day as a kid, and I would imitate him. I'd climb up on the refrigerator.
Oh, that's great.
That was my pulpit, and I'd open up my Bible, and I'd sit there and preach and talk about all these things to my family, and then after a while, my mom would say, "Okay, now that's enough. Now get down."
Oh, I wish I could
enough.
see that. I wish that was before you were into the technology to be able to record that.
Yeah,
But
I was
could
6 years
see
old.
that.
Yeah,
I can
I was
imagine
6
it really
years old.
well, though.
Yeah, I had my handkerchief in one hand, and boy, I tell you, it was a lot of fun, and I could make my whole family laugh, and I'd keep them laughing. I thought laughter to me was always something that would stir your soul. You know, the laughter is another thing I think that we all need, you know, in life.
Yes. Absolutely. We go. I mean, laughter is everything. And I'm, you know, speaking of doing great, I mean, I'm kind of proud of myself too for taking on this 2-hour show instead of, because it was a one hour show until February. And, you know, I really thought about it a lot. And I thought, well, I keep preaching about staying active, so do it. So I did. And
Well,
I'm pretty
glad you
proud of
did.
myself that I can, you know, I handle a 2-hour show. The first few, I was getting pretty tired, but that was closer to when I had the surgeries. And now it's like second nature, except when people like yourself are on, and then it's like third nature. It's really great.
Well, I love it. I tell you, the time goes so fast, though, when you and I get together. When you're having
Yeah.
fun, time goes even faster. And I'm really
It sure
enjoying
does.
sharing my thoughts with you. I tell you, I'm so glad that Randy introduced us, and I look at you as part of my family now, and my inner circle. So I really appreciate you sharing
And I
the
feel
time with me as
so
well.
honored by being part of your circle, and vice versa, of course. And I can't wait to get together.
Yeah,
I am
I'm
really busting at the seams to get
Well,
out.
Yeah, I'm looking forward to it. I'm going to be working on this tour I'm working on, and I can't wait to see how this all plays itself out. But go on the speaking circuit is going to be some exciting times when I can get out there live. That's what I enjoy the most, the interaction.
And that's going to make you feel so good.
Yes.
And going to give you, of course, the chance to give. And the people in the audience are going to get a huge chance to receive.
Yes.
I was going to say take, but receive is a better word, because they're going to be enriched by just listening to you for a bit. And you're still on that refrigerator. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
You haven't lost all of that. You still want to give. You still want to share. And that's so important.
Yes, and I think being humble, to me, my grandmother was the one that, you know, reminded me growing up as a kid to always be humble. And she lived to be 104 years old, and she was the backbone of our family, and she would tell us to always stay humble. And I think about her every day, and it reminds me as I go through all these successful things in my life, I just know that I couldn't do it all by myself. I've always had
Nobody
mentors
can.
and friends. Yeah.
Let me put the book on the wrong side before. Let me get it up here and show it again. But both pictures are look pretty good, but I want both on at the same time. And there is that book. which we're going to talk before we're done. We're going to let you know how to get a hold of it again because it's going to enrich your life. And anything that enriches your life will enrich everyone else's life around you. So what we give, we need to radiate back out again.
Yes.
Now you live in the kind of the east side of LA up towards Pasadena or Glendale, is that correct?
Yep, Pasadena, yes.
And your office, or I don't know whether you have an outside office or not, also in that area? That's convenient for you, right?
Yes, sir.
Okay, so as soon as I get myself out and running, I'm going to get on the Metrolink or the Amtrak and switch over to the Gold Line and get up to Pasadena, so on a time that's convenient for you, and we're going to meet.
I'm looking forward to it, Jay. I'm going to take you downtown. I've got a favorite restaurant downtown Pasadena, and we'll go there, and I'll treat you to lunch. I'm looking forward to it.
Well, you don't have to treat me, but I'm dying to ask you the name of that restaurant, but I think probably it should be a surprise.
Well, I'll tell you. Yeah,
okay.
It's called True Foods. It's one of my favorite restaurants in downtown, Old Town Pasadena. And I'm a regular there, so I love their entrees and salads and just a healthy mix.
And you know what? There are so many great restaurants in downtown, Old Town Pasadena. It's incredible. So for this to be your favorite, it's got to be huge. Wonderful.
Oh, yeah. Well, we're going to meet there. I can't wait.
All right,
you got sit outside on the patio.
Which exit to get off of, and I'll get off. I usually get off at the where you get out right over there by Union Street, about a block off from Colorado.
Yeah, I know what you're talking about. Right there off Fair Oaks, kind of in that area over in there. I know exactly what you're talking about.
Because one of my favorite record places is their Audio Element, and I have some. I bring records there to clean too, because they've got really good record cleaning machines. So they give also, and they allow people to come in with their own records or whatever and get them cleaned. And because of that, people stay and buy things. So it's reciprocity, or if I'm pronouncing it right, is so important when it comes to sales. Yeah. And that's great. It's just wonderful. So we're getting, believe it or not, we do have some time left, but I want to make sure we're not rushed through the period of time when we're telling people and folks how to get a hold of your book. So let's do that one more time, because getting a hold of Glenn's book is like a continuation of listening to him right here. And so give us that, and also how to get you signed up as a speaker, because I think that goes a long way.
Yes. You feel free to reach out to me at glennbowiespeaks.com. That's Glenn with 2 N's, BOWIE speaks.com. And if you go to my website there, you'll see the link not only to my book, but you can scroll down and you'll see some hyperlinks there that will show you the different topics that I specialize in. And I also can customize my presentations to your needs.
Right, and so that's great too. So, if somebody is if they're specifically selling a certain product, I'll tell you, I think sales is sales, but still, you can tailor things to, and you can talk to people who aren't even in sales, because what you're really talking about is quality of life, not just success in business. But I think without the quality in life, you're not going to have the success in business.
Yes, and then if you go to my contact page, you can leave your name and address and what topic would you like me to speak on, and your phone number, and then I'll get alerted, and then my office will follow back up with anyone, and then we'll set up a time to discuss it, and and go from there. But I look forward to hearing from each and every one of you and see how I can make a difference and help you with whatever your goals are. I would love it to be able to make a difference in your life as well.
Well, just having lunch with you is going to make a difference in my life. And I know that because I know that what you talk about is sincere all the time. And I'm not saying that's rare, but I'm saying that the level of what you know and what you share isn't ever. You're not going to find it everywhere.
Yeah, well, thank you. I've met people from all walks of life, Jay. I've met billionaires, I've met millionaires, and I've met the poor guy on the street, and I can relate to them all because, I judge everybody. I don't judge everybody, but I look at everyone the same,
Right.
So it doesn't matter to me because I've seen wealthy people, I've known wealthy people, and I've seen them struggle, and I've seen people that don't have anything, and they're the happiest people in the world. So
of course they can be, because money doesn't make it everything.
Yes,
it's not,
yes,
it's attitude, and it's what you get out of life.
Yeah, I look at a person's heart. I look at what's inside a person's heart, not on the outside, the physical side. I look at what's in the person's heart is the most important thing to me. It's not their status or their position or their titles. It's just what's in their heart is really what
Right.
it comes down to. Mm-hmm.
And you can see that where some people pass by, but you take the time to understand.
Yes.
And that's so important. So we've only got a couple of minutes here. I think we have a few minutes here, I think. So anything you could, yeah, it's gone so fast, I can't believe it.
Yeah.
Anything in closing that you'd like to add to what we've already gone over? Although I think that's awfully hard to find anything else. But go ahead.
Yeah, just in closing, I just want to say thank you for the opportunity, Jay, for having me on. I really appreciate it. And to all the listeners out there, you can make it. Age is just a number. Life is what you make it. Surround yourself with positive people, positive energy. Don't give up. Never give up. Always believe that you can make it, even when you don't see the end result. Just believe that you can make it and just keep striving, and then it'll bring it and speak it into existence, and you can make it happen for yourself. And that's what I've done.
Speaking into existence, boy, that sounds familiar, doesn't it?
Yeah.
I guess I better show that again, right here. Boy, look at what you're so. I've got your face next to mine. That's not a good thing. You're so much better looking than I am, but people are used to looking at me, so what the heck? You know what I mean? We're not going to worry about that, are we? No, but
No.
There is that book, and you have to be able to get it. And what year was it when you came out to San Diego?
That was
first time.
The first time was that was 1994.
Okay, I was already old then, but yeah.
1994.
I That's great. And then you stayed in when you came to LA, you stayed here? And I agree with you 100% about San Diego is still a beautiful place, but the action is in LA.
The opportunities.
I felt like
I felt like I could reach more people. I could touch more people. The bigger the city, the bigger the opportunity.
So we got 2 minutes left, Glenn. So I'm not sure what you might. I mean, you've said so much, but I let me say, because I really need to tell you how much I appreciate the time you've spent with all of us here. I think we're blessed. We're really lucky that we had you and have you. And I'm going to recommend everyone on the earth this book. Okay, it's not going to take you that long. See, I mean, but it's it's a great read, and there's another nice rendering, if I should use fancy words, and there's just so much into speaking into existence, which shows you how, well, not exactly how to speak, but how to have the attitude that allows you to automatically speak and move into it.
You
So,
got it.
Glenn, I want to thank you so much, okay?
Well, thank you.
You do a lot for me when we talk. I don't, even if there's nobody listening, and I think there's 3 or 4, no, I'm kidding. Even if there's nobody listening, I really appreciate this conversation. It's always just like the first one of the best conversations I have had. And the timing is good. I mean, I'm not down because of the health thing. I'm getting up there. I'm doing well. But a boost from you is always in order when it's available.
Well,
So,
I appreciate it. I really appreciate it. In closing, I just want to say one last thing, Jay, is that not only can you speak things into existence, you can think it into existence. You can meditate on it. You can pray on it. You can sit quietly at home and just think and meditate on it and visualize it and speak it that way into existence as well.
So there is our goodbye music starting up, which means we're done. So again, Glenn, thank you so much. Sean, our engineer, best in the business, thank you. And of course, a special thanks to everyone listening. Have a great spring starts tomorrow. Have a great spring, and we'll talk to you next week. Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.
You've been listening to the Educated Retirement Show with Jay Kaplan. Tune in every Friday at 3 p.m. to learn more about your mortgage and reverse mortgages. And don't forget, each show is also podcasted on the KMET website, KMET1490am.com. Thanks for listening.